Hello students, welcome to grade 10 chemistry class, atomic structure part 6. In the previous class you have learnt about the four quantum numbers: principal quantum number, azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number and spin quantum number, which has given us an idea of the size of an atom, presence of shells, subshells present in an atom. Now, in this class, you are going to learn about the arrangement of electrons in these shells and subshells, which is known as electronic configuration. Now, let's get into details. What is electronic configuration? Electronic configuration describes how the electrons are distributed in the various atomic orbitals. What is an electronic configuration, or what does it describes is electronic configuration is distribution of electrons in various atomic orbitals. I repeat, electronic configuration means distribution, arrangement of electrons in various atomic orbitals is known as electronic configuration. So the distribution of electrons in various shells is known as electronic configuration. It describes how the arrangement is done in an atom. For example, if you see here 1s1, this represents that in the first orbit of s orbital, one electron is present. So remember that electronic configuration means it is distribution of electrons in shells and subshells. It describes how the arrangement is done in an atom. And what is this 1s1 and what are all these 2s2p1, how it is done, what are these, we'll see in the further. There are two ways to write electronic configuration. Configuration gives us the idea of arrangement of electrons, and if we are asked to represent the arrangement of electrons, it is represented as in two ways. Before going to these description of these two ways, I would like to explain to you like why we should represent. In general, when you are asked to draw the picture of your classroom, what will you do? You'll draw a blackboard, and in front 3 rows of benches or 2 rows of benches, and in each row few like 4 or 5 benches. Then another example, if you are asked to draw the plan of your or design of your home, what will you draw? A building, and inside when you draw a building, it shows a living room, then bedroom, kitchen, your study room, all this will be there. So here, when you are designing or to depict a picture of your home or your classroom, anything, we represent it in the form of a picture. The same way, the distribution of electrons can be done in the form of electronic configuration. And this electronic configuration can be written in two ways. The first one is SPDF notation. First one is SPDF notation, and the other one is orbital box notation. Let's see the first one now. What is this SPDF notation? SPDF notation, which means that SPDF are, you have heard these, they are orbitals present in an atom, and using this it can be represented. The atomic structure of an atom can be described as below, that is NLX, where N gives us the idea of the energy level in which an electron is present, which is nothing but principal quantum number. So here N represents principal quantum number. Then L. L gives us the angular momentum quantum number, whether it is s orbital, p, d or f orbital. So here N gives us the idea of principal quantum number, L gives us azimuthal quantum number or angular momentum quantum number, and X denotes the number of electrons present in an atom. So Here, when it is written, for example, 1s1 is given, which means that the energy level is 1, which means it is first orbit. So here n is equal to 1 and azimuthal quantum number L is s. So it is the sublevel s orbital. Then the number of electrons present in it are 1. So this notation is known as SPDF notation, which is written as NLX. Okay. The next one is orbital box notation. I'll explain this after finishing NLX method, because we have to go in detail how it has to be written. NLX, how it has to be written. Let's see. So here, when you have learned that the arrangement of the electrons can be done, and it is known as electronic configuration. To write the electronic configuration, whether it may be SPDF notation or box notation, anything, there are 3 rules to be followed in writing the electronic configuration. What are those 3? Let's see. The first one is Aufbau principle. Second is Pauli's exclusion principle, and the third is Hund's rule. I repeat, there are 3 rules that has to be followed in writing electronic configuration, because the arrangement of the electrons is done basing on these 3 principles. The first one, Aufbau principle, Pauli's exclusion principle, and Hund's rule. Now let's see what is the first one. That is Aufbau principle. This is based on filling up of lower energy orbitals first. So this principle is based on filling up of lower energy orbitals first, which means that lower orbitals has to be filled up first, and then the next energy level orbital, and so on. So the Aufbau principle states that electrons enter the lowest energy orbitals first. The lower the principal quantum number, the lower the energy. So here n value, that is the principal quantum number value, gives us the energy of the atom. Suppose if n is equal to 1, it has least energy, n is equal to 2 has greater energy, n is equal to 3 has much greater energy than 1 and 2, and so on. So here, lower the principal quantum number, the lower is the energy. Within an energy level, s orbitals are the lowest energy, followed by p, d and f. So here, how they are filled is, first lower energy, first orbit, and then second orbit, and then third orbit. Again, within the energy level, this is the first one, filling up of the energy levels. Again, within the energy level also, the orbitals are present. They are S, P, D and F. Depending on the energy level, they are present. And when these energy levels, sub-energy levels are present, the least sub-energy shell has to be filled up first. That is, S orbital has to be filled up first, and then P, then D and then F. F orbitals are the highest energy for that level. Among SPDF, F orbitals are having the highest energy. And here is the picture which shows that the energy levels, how they are. First is 1s, and then 2s, and then 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s, 4d. It's enough if you learn till here. Now see again, once again, the lowest energy value is orbits. If you take 1, 2, 3, 4, again within the orbit, that is within the energy level, s orbital first. First orbit has only s orbital, so 1s is filled, and then moving to the second orbit. Second orbit has s and p, but electrons should enter into the s orbital first, and then to the p orbital. So second orbit is completely filled. Then electrons move on to the third orbit. So after filling first orbit, then second orbit will be filled. Again in the second orbit, within the second orbit, 2s is filled first, after then 2p is filled. So when these two orbits, first orbit and second orbit, are completely filled, then electrons enters into the third orbit. Okay, now let's see how this filling takes place. The rules of filling the electronic configuration of an atom is Aufbau principle. What is it? Let's see with the definition. According to Aufbau principle, electrons tend to occupy the available orbitals in increasing order of energies, the orbital of lower energy being filled first. This is known as building up principle or Aufbau principle. Now let me explain. The first rule that has to be followed is following the Aufbau principle. What is this Aufbau principle means? This Aufbau principle is also known as building up rule. Why it is known as building up rule means it builds up the energy levels. So here this rule states that electrons tend to occupy the available orbitals. Listen, available orbitals in increasing order of energies. The orbital of lower energy being filled first. So this rule states that electrons will occupy the orbitals whichever are available. Like in the first orbit, if we take, only s orbital is available. So that has to be filled first. Then electrons enter into the second orbit, in which s and p orbitals are available. So s orbital has to be filled first and then p orbital, because it states that within the energy level, also they have to obey the lowest energy level. Within the energy level, lowest energy level has to be filled first and then the next energy level orbital has to be filled. So electron enter into the 1s orbital first. After filling it completely, then to 2s it moves. Then electrons are filled in the 2p orbital. So to fill up these electrons in this orbital, the rule that is followed is Aufbau principle, which states that the electrons tend to enter into the orbitals in the increasing order of energies being filled, the lower energy orbitals being filled first. That is, whose n plus L value is least, where n stands for principal quantum number and L stands for azimuthal quantum number or angular momentum quantum number. The energy of an orbital is determined by the sum of principal quantum number and the angular quantum number. So here electron enter into the orbital whose n plus L value is least. So if you want to define Aufbau principle in short, it can be defined as, according to the Aufbau principle, electron enter into the orbital whose n plus L value is least, where n is principal quantum number and L is azimuthal quantum number. So remember the rule n plus L. If in case of two orbitals having the same n plus L value, the orbital with lower value of n has lower energy. So here it states that when we are finding or when we are filling electrons into orbits, n plus L rule has to be followed. So take 1s orbital first, then n value of 1s is 1 and s value, L value of s orbital is 0. So 1 plus 0 it is equal to 1. And then n plus L value of 2 is 2 plus 0 is equal to 2. So among these 1s and 2s, 1s is having the lowest energy. So it will enter into the orbital of 1s. If suppose the n plus n value is same for both the orbitals, then electron enters into the orbital whose n value is least. Let's see what it is in detail. The rules of electronic configuration of atom. Again, to fill up electrons in an atom, rules that has to be followed is, first thing, each electron shell can hold maximum 2n square electrons. So each shell can hold an electrons of 2n square. That is, if it is a first orbit, 2 into 1 square, so 2. If it is second orbit, then 2 into 2 square, that is 2 square is 4, 4 twos are 8. So second orbit can have 8 electrons in it. That is, in s orbit 2 electrons, and in p orbital 6 electrons. So total 8 electrons can be filled in the second orbit. Same way in the third orbit. That is, in the third orbit, how many electrons can be filled is 2 into 3 square. 3 square is 9. So 9 twos are 18. Then how these 18 electrons are filled is in s orbital 2 electrons, in p orbital 6 electrons, and after s and p, d orbital, in which 10 electrons can be filled. So a total of 18 electrons can be filled in the third orbit. Now the pattern that has to be followed while entering the electrons into the shell is first orbit, second, third, fourth, and so on. Then pattern of electrons entering in subshells, how they have to follow is following S, P, D, and F. Entering of electron in orbital can be followed with the third rule, that is Hund's rule. What is it is? Electrons are distributed among the orbitals of a subshell in such a way as to give the maximum number of unpaired electrons and have the same direction of pair. So let's see further what is this Hund's rule. Before going to the Hund's rule, I would like to explain the according to Aufbau principle, electrons enters into the orbital whose n plus L value is least, which states that Aufbau principle states that electrons enters into the orbitals whose n plus L value is least. For example, when you take 1s and 2s, the n plus L value of 1s is 1 plus 0, which is equal to 1. The same way, the n plus L value of 2s is equal to 2 plus 0 is equal to 2. So 1 is less than 2. So electrons enter into the 1s orbital first, and then it enters into the 2s orbital. And then another rule. When you consider 4s and 3d orbitals, then electrons enter into the 4s orbital without filling 3d orbital. You have learned that electrons enter into the pattern of energy levels, that is first 1, 2 and then 3, then 4. But here when you consider 4s and 3d, then electron will enter into the 4s orbital without filling 3d orbital. The reason for this is following the Aufbau principle. Aufbau principle rule has to be followed, though the pattern is that filling up of the lower energy level. Again, within the energy level also they have to obey. So here, when the n plus L value of these two orbitals are taken, then it was observed that the n plus L value of 4s is equal to 4 plus 0, which is equal to 4. And the n plus L value of 3d is equal to 3 plus 2, which is equal to 5. So here 4s is having the least energy than 3d. So the electron enters into the 4s orbital after filling 3p. Then after filling 4s, it enters into the 3d orbital. So remember that energy levels are filled whose n plus L value is least. The same way when you consider 2p and 3s orbital, the n plus L value of 2p is 2 plus 1 is equal to 3, and n plus L value of 3s is equal to 3 plus 0, which is equal to 3. So here it is a puzzle to enter in which orbital the electron into which it has to be entered, whether it is in 2p or 3s, because both the orbitals are having the same energy level, the same value, that is 3. Then in such cases, electron enters into the orbital whose n value is least. So among this 3s and 2p, 2p belongs to second energy level. So here n value of 2p is less than 3. So here electron enters into the 2p orbital first and then it enters into 3s. Okay. So here the first rule to remember the Aufbau principle is electron enter into the orbital whose n plus L value is least. But when n plus L value is same, then electron enter into the orbital whose n value is least. Okay. Remember that. Here is a trick to remember or to write the energy-wise sequence of orbits. That is, this is explained by Moeller and this diagram is known as Moeller's diagram. Now let's see how it can be drawn. That is, in the first orbit, in the first energy level, s orbital is present, whereas in the second orbit, 2s and 2p are present. So first write the available orbitals in each energy level. So first orbit 1s, in the second orbit the available orbitals are 2s and 2p, and in third orbit the available orbitals are 3s, 3p and 3d. The same way 4, 5, 6, 7 are written, and then what you should do is, as per Aufbau principle, electron enters into the orbital whose n plus L value is least. So that you can be obtained easily with this diagram. After writing the available orbitals in each orbit, draw a line diagonally, that is first 1s, and then for the second one another diagonal, that is 2s, and then move to the next orbital, that is 2p. Draw a diagonal, it crosses 2p and 3s. Now 3s is completed, so when you move to the third orbit, 3p, touching the 3p, you have to draw a diagonal which passes through 3p and 4s. Similarly, 3d, 4p, 5s. So when you draw the diagonals in this way, you obtain that the energy levels, how they are filled is first 1s, then move diagonally, first 1s, then 2s, then 2p, 3s. Then again move to the next diagonal, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p, 5s and so on. So this is written down as 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d and so on. So in this way electrons can be filled. And now the second rule, that is Pauli's exclusion principle. What does this rule states? The next rule is about the Pauli's exclusion principle, and this principle states that an atomic orbital may have up to 2 electrons and then it is full. So here this principle states that an atomic orbital can have 2 electrons in it and then it is filled. Then it is moved to the next orbital. The spins have to be paid. Again, these orbitals have to be paid. We usually represent this with an up arrow and a down arrow. So here Pauli's exclusion principle states that every atomic orbital can have only 2 electrons, and these 2 electrons spins has to be paid. Means the spinning of these 2 electrons which are paid in an orbital has to be paid up. That is, one with an upward arrow and other one with a downward arrow. This shows that one is in clockwise direction and other electron is spinning in the anti-clockwise direction. Since there is only one s orbital per energy level, only 2 electrons fill that orbital. In the first orbit, only s orbital is present. So, first orbital can have only 2 electrons in it. So, if we go in detail of Pauli's exclusion principle, Pauli is a Wolfgang Pauli discovered the principle that governs the arrangement of electrons in many electron atoms. So, in the year 1925, he discovered this principle which helped to govern the arrangement of electrons in many atoms. This principle states that no 2 electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers n, l, m and s. So according to this principle, that is according to Pauli's exclusion principle, no 2 electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers n, l, m and s. So according to this principle, an orbital can have 2 electrons and each electron will have a set of the 4 quantum numbers. Again, the other electron which is present along with this, the first electron, will not have the 4 quantum numbers same. So this states that no two electrons will have all the quantum numbers same. For a given orbital, thus the electron value of n, l, m are fixed. For example, when you take an electron in the first orbit, when I say first orbit, its n value is 1. And when we have to speak about its L value, I said first orbit. So in the first orbit, only s orbital is available whose L value is 0. So the orbitals which are available in first energy level is only 1. And in that orbital, 2 electrons can be filled. And both the electrons will have the n value 1 and L value also the same, that is 0. And that is s orbital. Now moving on to the m value. M values are from minus L to plus L, which is equal to 0 again. So here both the electrons are having the same value of n, L, m. But if we consider its spin quantum number s, then one electron will have or will move in clockwise direction and the other electron will be moving or spinning in anti-clockwise direction. So, which is following the Pauli's exclusion principle, that is, no two electrons will have the same set of quantum numbers. Okay, have you got it? So thus, if you want to put more than one electron in an orbital and satisfy Pauli's exclusion principle, our only option is to assign different value of s to the second electron. We know that there can be only two s values possible for any electron. So here we conclude that an orbital can hold a maximum of 2 electrons. So here we can say that an orbital can have a maximum of only 2 electrons and they must have opposite spin, which reflects in obeying the Pauli's exclusion principle. So what is Pauli's exclusion principle? Pauli's exclusion principle states that no two electrons in an atom can have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. Now let's see another example of Pauli's exclusion principle. Consider the second cell, that is second orbit, whose n value is equal to 2. In this orbit, there are 4 orbitals, s and p, that is one s orbital and 3 p orbitals, whose L value is equal to 1. Now consider the 4 quantum numbers for these orbitals. N is equal to 2 for all these 4 orbitals. Now L value of s orbital is 0. So here in s orbital, 2 electrons can be filled and the L value of each electron is equal to 0 and M value is also 0 for both the electrons, but its spin value is one electron is having plus half and the second electron is having minus half. So here these electrons which are present in the s orbital are differing in s value. So this is Pauli's exclusion principle. Now see the p orbital. In this p orbital, 3 subshells are present, px, py and pz. Now when you take px, it can have 2 electrons. Again, they differ in their spin quantum number. The same way, py when you take here, the n value of py is 2 and its L value is 1. But its m value is, since the m values are from minus L to plus L, here it is equal to minus 1. So the values of px, py and pz are changing in m value as well as in the s value also. So here again in this pair, one is having plus half and the other one is having minus half here. So here these 2 electrons in 2p, though they are in 2p y orbital, the n value is same, L value is same, m value is also the same, but again they are differing in s value. The same with 2pz also. The m value of 2pz is 0. And the electrons which are in 2pz orbital are having n value 2, L value 1, m value 0, but the spin value is 1 with plus half and the other one minus half. So here when you take a pair of electrons in any shell, they differ in any one of the quantum number. Okay. The next third rule is Hund's rule. What does this rule states? Hund's rule states that when you get to degenerate orbitals, you fill them all halfway first and then you start pairing up the electrons. What is this Hund's rule is? This rule states that when you are filling the electrons, you get to fill the degenerate orbitals first. I'll explain you what is degenerate orbital. So this rule states that when you are filling the electrons in an atom, you have to fill the degenerate orbitals. You get to enter into the degenerate orbitals, fill them halfway first. Means fill them each electron and then start pairing up the electrons. So here this rule states that we have to fill the degenerate orbitals half and then start pairing of electrons. Now let's see what are degenerate orbitals. Degenerate orbitals means the orbitals that have the same energy. They are known as degenerate orbitals. For example, when you take s orbital, it has only one subshell. When you take p orbital, it has three subshells, px, py and pz, and all of them have the same energy. So they are known as degenerate orbitals, whereas s is not having any subshells. So it is s orbital, that's it. Whereas when you take p orbital, it has px, py, pz. All of them have same energy and hence they are degenerate orbitals. In the same way, d also. dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square, dz square also possess the same energy and hence they are known as degenerate orbitals. So here, how the electrons has to be entered is according to Hund's rule. The degenerate orbitals has to be filled halfway first. Means each subshell has to be filled up with one electron first. Like px, py, pz. Each one electron. And then the fourth electron should enter into the px orbital. Pairing has to be started then after filling the available degenerate orbitals half. Similarly, the d and f orbitals are also degenerate orbitals. Now, for example, to understand much better the Hund's rule, consider the example of electronic configuration of carbon. Here, atomic number of carbon is 6 and the available orbitals for filling these 6 electrons is first it has to be entered into the least energy level first orbit, that is 1s, and s orbital can have only 2 electrons. So those 2 electrons are entered into the 1s orbital. Then electrons start moving into the second orbit. So here the electrons, when they are moving into the second orbit, then what happens is these electrons are having S and P. So 2s is least energy, so electrons enter into the 2s orbital. 2 electrons are filled. But when the electrons are entering into the 2p orbital, there are 3 subshells. So the electrons, fifth electron, 4 are completed here. The fifth electron will enter into the first subshell of 2p and sixth enter into the next subshell. It doesn't pair up with the first one. It enters into the next one and then the pairing can be started if electrons are available. Since there are 6 electrons present, carbon is filled with 2px1, 2py1. Okay. The same way, nitrogen electronic configuration is 7 here. So electrons enter into 2px1, y1, z1. They doesn't pair up. Whereas oxygen electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2px2 here. because each available degenerate orbitals are half filled. Then pairing had started. So 2px2, 2py1 and 2pz1. I think you are clear here. So Hund's rule states that pairing of electrons takes place after all the available degenerate orbitals are half filled. What is Hund's rule? Hund's rule states that pairing of electrons takes place after all the available degenerate orbitals are half filled. Then, now you have learnt about three rules. Observing this electronic configuration of these elements, now try to understand and identify which rule is obeyed in filling up of these electrons. For example, here hydrogen 1s1, helium 1s2, lithium atomic number 3, it enters into 1s2, 2s1. So here 1s2 and then 2s1. So which energy or which principle is followed here? So first orbital is completely filled, 1s is completely filled and then 2s is filled. So here it is following the lowest energy level, which means that least n plus L value is followed. So electrons are entering into the least n plus L value first. So which is half-bow principle. The next one, if you observe here the electrons are entering into the carbon 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So here, though the second electron is available, already 4 are completely filled and they are paired. The fifth electron is filled and sixth electron did not. So here, the electron is not paired up. So it is following which rule? Pairing up of electrons takes place after available degenerate orbitals are half filled. So it is Hund's rule. Same way for the oxygen also. The next one. What are the steps in writing the electronic configuration? You have learned the electronic configuration can be written in the form of SPDF notation, that is NLX. How it has to be written? For example, you are writing the electronic configuration of magnesium whose atomic number is 12. This has 12 protons and 12. To fill the electrons, first we have to draw the boxes that are available in each orbit. So in the first orbit, 1s is available and in the second orbit, 2s and 2p are available. 2p is divided into three subshells as px, py and pz. So those three are drawn separately. Now in the third orbit, 3s, 3p and 3d are available. But 3d orbital is filled after filling 4s orbital. And here the electronic configuration is only 12. So these 9 boxes are enough to fill up the electrons. So first draw the boxes first that are available in each orbit. And then next add 1 electron to each box in a set. So the third step that has to be written is add 1 electron to each box in a set. That is in first orbit, 1 electron you will draw and then pair the electrons before going to the next set. So first orbit is completely filled. So you have to draw another electron into this box. Then first orbit is completely filled. Then move to the second set, that is second orbit, second energy level. Then here draw the electron, draw an electron in each box. And then what happens? 2s is filled with 2, 2p x1, 2p y1, 2p z1. Again, since 4, 5, 6, 7 are completely filled, 8th electron will go here, 9 and 10. Then 11th electron will go to the 3s orbital. Since one more is available, the 12th electron goes to 3s orbital. So in this way, we fill or we write the electronic configuration of elements depending on their atomic number. The shorthand electron configurations. So we can write the electronic configuration in a shorthand representation. Now let's see what it is. Electrons fill orbitals in a regular pattern. We can shorten the work of writing electronic configurations by using the preceding noble gas as a template. So here we can represent the shorthand electronic configuration following the regular pattern. In general, electrons are filled in a regular pattern, that is first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, and so on. And again, second rule, within the orbit following the least n plus L value. So when you have written or when the electrons are filled in that way, it's difficult to write the electronic configuration of higher elements as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, so on for the higher elements. So to lessen the work, shorthand electronic configuration can be followed. So how it has to be done is, we have to consider the preceding noble gas. The noble gases are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. So these are the noble gases. Why they are called as noble gases is, they are noble. They are also known as inert gases, which are chemically inert in reaction. So they are known as inert gases or noble gases. So following or taking their configuration, electronic configuration as a template, we can write the electronic configuration of the preceding elements. We write the highest shell last to indicate the valence electrons, that is those furthest out, which is the outermost orbital is written first. We can represent the shorthand electronic configuration of the noble gas in two ways. For example, argon, its atomic number is 18. So when it is 18, it can be written as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. Now just to check it, count the number of electrons. 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 2, 12, 12 plus 6, 18. So here the electronic configuration of argon is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. So instead of writing it so lengthy, it can be written in short as neon in brackets, square brackets, represents the electronic configuration of neon, whose atomic number is 10. So instead of writing 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, it is written as neon electronic configuration and its continuation 3s2, 3p6. So this can be written as argon Ar in brackets, represents the electronic configuration. So the elements which follow the argon, they can be represented using this template. There are several notable exceptions to the order of electron filling for some of the transition metals. So here we have learned that electron filling has to be followed in a regular pattern, that is filling up of the lowest energy level, first, second, third and then fourth and so on. And within the energy level also SPDF has to be followed, obeying N plus L rule. But there are certain notable exceptions. For example, chromium and copper. Chromium, whose atomic number is 24. Here you can see that chromium Z is equal to 24. You know that atomic number is denoted by the letter Z. So here atomic number of chromium is equal to 24. And its electronic configuration is represented as Ar, that is electronic configuration of argon 18 plus 4s2 20 and then 3d4, so 24 is filled. But how it is generally follows is, the general filling of electrons has to be done in this way, 4s2 3d4. But it was observed that the chromium atom is exhibiting more stability when the electrons are filled in this way, like 4s1 and 3d5. In general, 4s orbital has to be completely filled and then electrons has to be filled into the 3d orbital. So 4s2, if it has to be followed generally, then 4s2, 3d1, 3d2, 3d3, 3d4 and 3d5, that is 3z square. 3dz square is left empty. But when this is left empty, the atom is less stable. So to attain more stability, one electron from 4s is shifted. Then 4s orbital is half filled and even 3d orbital is also half filled. So in this way, when an atom is either half filled or completely filled, it is exhibiting much stability. This was observed. So following the three rules, an atom can be filled, and an atom exhibits stability when orbitals are completely filled, which is followed or which is observed in noble gases like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Why they are more stable is the degenerate orbitals are completely filled. So it was accepted by then scientists. When the orbitals are completely filled, the atoms are stable. But the exceptional cases were also observed later. That is, when an atom is having either half filled or completely filled, then it can have stability. So chromium is an exceptional case. The same way, copper also. Copper atomic number is 29 and its electronic configuration should be organ 18, to it 4s2, 20, 3d 9. Actually 3d orbital can have 10 electrons, but the available electrons are so that the d orbital is not completely filled. So when one electron from 4s is shifted, then even s orbital is half filled and d orbital is completely filled. So, to attain greater stability, this anomaly is followed. That is, the electronic configuration of copper is argon 4s1, 3d10 is followed. So, the reason for these anomalies, either it may be for copper or chromium, the reason is that slightly greater stability of D subshells that are either half filled or completely filled is observed. So, to attain that greater stability, these are the exceptional cases. Now, I hope that all of you have understood the three rules of filling up of the electrons, the arrangement of electrons, which is known as electronic configuration. With this, I complete the chapter, and for you, here is a little assessment that has to be done for the next class. State the three principles that govern the electronic configuration. Write the electronic configurations of elements from atomic number 1 to 20. So here you have learned to write the electronic configuration of elements. So try to write the electronic configurations of elements from atomic number 1 to 20. It should be in a tabular form following the pattern as serial number, atomic number, name of the element and electronic configuration. Okay? I repeat the tabular form: serial number, atomic number, which is the same, and then element name and its electronic configuration. Then the third question is to draw the Moeller diagram, which is important for 5-mark question. So I hope all of you have understood well, and in the next class we'll be meeting you with the next new chapter. Thank you.